This is Greg Suttie On Soccer, and I am here with Coach Don Ebert. And I just got to say, I have followed your career, and I want to talk a little bit about that. I know just a minute ago you were kind of hesitant about it. It's 40 years ago and whatnot. But in the conversation, I want to get up to where we are today.
Okay.
Looking at the championship and all that kind of thing. So you had some success in college. There was an NCAA championship involved in your college career.
Oh, we're going 50 years. So yeah, we just had the 40th anniversary of it. They had the St. Louis honored the team. SIU, we beat Clemson in the final. It was my junior year, and then I think that was the highlight for sure. The college winning that level. It was a very special team. 6 guys got drafted in the first 2 rounds back then, and it was a special group of guys. It was one of those magic in a bottle.
Yep.
We were all from St. Louis.
Yeah, that's very cool.
It was a really, really tight group that did everything together. And the late Coach Gelker was there. He was sick that year, and we had a little extra motivation. And yeah, it didn't get any better than that.
Did you go to this reunion, the 40th year?
I did not get back because we had a NISA game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But then you left after your junior year and joined the St. Louis Steamers. But
I went through the Cosmos.
I was just going to say, but first you were drafted by the Cosmos.
So they made an offer that if I would come out early, they would get the #1 pick.
Gotcha.
And at the time, I thought that I got wrapped up in the whole thing. Pele was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
was there.
Yeah.
Beckenbauer, Naskins, guys that I idolized.
Of course.
And the thought that I could go and play, and the harsh reality took me all of about 5 days to realize I wasn't even close. I mean, college was fun. College was great.
It's a whole different level.
With those guys at that time, the New York Cosmos were like Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't good enough. Plain simple. I was not good enough. I was never going to play. And the guy told me that. There was a new coach. He said, I just signed a 4-year deal. You're never going to play. You're 20 years old.
Wow.
So I had a chance to go back to hometowns, indoor, St. Louis, and that's what I did.
And that was in 1980?
1980.
Okay, and you played 6 years with the Steamers.
Got 6 years with the Steamers and got traded out here to LA. That's how I moved to Southern California. I got traded.
I was going to ask you what brought you to SoCal, but
a trade. And the indoor game, that's when the NASL folded. So all the guys went indoor. It was the only way to continue professional soccer.
That's right.
And St. Louis again caught magic in a bottle. We had like 18 guys from St. Louis.
Absolutely.
The coach was St. Louis.
Yeah.
It was
that
kind
was
of
Pat
us.
McBride?
Pat McBride. It was kind of the us versus them. That's what our mantra was. The American guys.
I get it.
There were so many good, talented players, but we took that pretty serious. We lost in 3 finals. We couldn't quite get over the hump, but that was fun. And then I got traded to LA. It was owned by the Buses.
Right.
And unfortunately, I got hurt and decided, and got offered to stay and work for Jerry Buss and learn the sports management business. And I worked 15 years for Buss, which was by far the finest sports organization there was.
So now back in the Steamers era, I'm sitting here in San Diego, and of course, there's a whole bunch of international players here in San Diego. So the statement that you make about the us versus them, the American players kind of thing, that really resonates with me, because I remember that about the St. Louis Steamers and about how they were a local group of guys and predominantly an American side. And so many of the players that had been playing in the NASL at that point had transferred over to the MISL because that was the only professional league going on here.
Correct.
In the country at that time. And then you played here for the Lasers for how many years?
2 years. I got injured. My back just didn't hold up. But those San Diego teams were loaded.
Yeah, no,
they were so much fun to play against, and complete difference in what we did. We did man-to-man. We tried to track you around the field, and they just knocked it around. We could never get up to San Diego. They just, Zungle Segota, Kazi, Gene Woolridge. I could go down the lane. The names were awesome.
Right.
Just 2 contrasts.
Yeah.
We were this blue collar, we're going to run, and they just pinged it around us. They were, but you're right. It was the only way to get paid. Yeah. It was really good level. We had
it was.
Television deals.
Yeah, absolutely.
17,000 everywhere you went. It was sold out.
Yep, everywhere.
It was just it was just you
It was
again.
magical. The whole thing was
It
magical.
just and you can't repeat it. It'll
No.
never be repeated, and
Right.
don't try to repeat it.
Right, right.
Enjoy it, live it, and now it's an outdoor game.
Now there was something else though. You were playing for the United States Olympic team in 1980 when it did not make you. I think you were the captain, were you not?
Yeah, and we boycotted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
How
went
do you
through
feel about all of that?
political. I've been turned off on the political world since, so I'm the wrong guy to ask.
Okay.
It was 4 years of work,
Yeah.
and we finally qualified, and we did all this and
Right.
gave up. In my case, I was the only college guy on the team.
Wow.
I pretty much gave up college to do that, and then for a country I didn't even know anything about, and Afghanistan being invaded by Russia,
yeah,
we
well,
weren't even
Who cares?
we
right?
weren't even involved. I'd understand
I
if it was
know.
the American troops,
I know.
I'd back them, but
Yeah.
it didn't even involve us,
Right.
and we don't go.
And we don't know.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, making
And
sports political is heartbreaking.
when you're in the Olympics, it didn't make any sense to me, especially that reason didn't make sense.
Right. All right. So let's talk what got you from your retirement with the Lasers to where we are today here with California United Strikers. What happened in those 20 years?
I
What you
went
been
to
doing?
work. I got out of soccer. I was burnt. I wanted nothing to do with soccer, so I did a personal hiatus for 3 years, 4 years. It wasn't until my son needed a coach that I
Interesting.
just
Oh,
went,
how
oh
cool.
God, here I go again. But I had just been done. Everything I did was soccer, soccer, soccer.
Absolutely.
It just consumed my whole being, who I thought I was. So I put everything into California Sports Buses
Right.
Company. I did boxing. I did soccer. I got totally into the world of foreign boxing. I put on pay-per-view shows in Vegas. We were very successful. I learned a lot from Bus, and I thought I was going to go into that management side.
Interesting.
And then I got dragged into the coaching world through my son. And the club needed somebody in Irvine. There was a local club called the Irvine Strikers, and I went, "Oh no, don't do it, don't do it." And I did it.
So are there that club is the Strikers? What age group do the kids start playing?
Oh, at that time we were always U10 to U19,
Okay.
boys and girls,
Okay.
and you had 20 teams. And I went full in. I ran it. I was at every session. I knew every player's name. That was the beginning of me really enjoying coaching. My kids
Very
played
cool.
in the club.
Very cool.
So my wife would justify it because
Nice.
my sons were there
That's
and my
nice.
daughter was there.
I
And
get
okay,
it.
go.
Very cool.
So it was very much a big part of our family. When I transitioned back into the soccer world, it was strictly coaching and the club. Professional was the furthest thing from my mind. I still did not want to go back to that world.
Well, how did it evolve to where we are today? The California United Strikers?
Yeah, I mean, today was a former teammate, Michael Collins, and I, who go way back, and he kept telling me about this team, and we're going to be local. All the hot buttons that triggered me back in St. Louis
Perfect.
lined up.
Yep.
You know, let's do it with local Southern California guys. Let's get the local club involved. Let's do it with local players. You know, can you see yourself getting involved? I fought it for like a year and a half.
Really?
I told Mike, I just don't want to go back. And then it all aligned. You know, I met Pete and Bronwyn, and the opportunity with a new league, a lower league that you could develop. I don't want I'm too old to get into MLS.
I get it.
I don't want any of that. But this, young players, local players, everything that I had came through the system in St. Louis.
Very cool.
It just lined up. And so I said I'd try it. And then, like everything, you either love it or you get out. And I told my wife, I'm going to see if I love it. I'm not going to do it half-hearted.
That's so cool.
You can't do it.
That's so
and
cool.
I really enjoyed it. It was after 30 years of youth and just dealing with parents and youth and that box that's pretty confined I come to love. This was no box, no borders.
Wow.
Do what you want. Help as high as you want to train, as low. A 30-year-old and a 16-year-old can play together.
Right.
That world wasn't what the world I was in.
I get it.
So I ended up really, really embracing it and enjoying it, and to the point where I said I want to go all in. So we talked about merging my club with the pro team, and now it's in Southern California. Now we got the stadium. It's
beautiful location.
All local players from 10 different clubs, and we want to continue that. And I want to help guys learn what it's like to be a pro. It's not easy.
Nope.
It's a big shift. There's no manual. So if you do what I did,
Yeah.
and you go to the New York Cosmos
Yeah.
out of college,
Yeah.
thinking you're really good,
Yeah.
and no one prepares you,
Right.
you fail.
Yep.
I fail, and that has always stuck with me. Like, no one prepared me.
Wow.
So we need these lower levels so guys can learn by their mistakes.
Yep.
And learn what it's like to make this transition to professional.
Well, I love watching you coach, Coach Ebert. I absolutely do. I've been sitting on the sidelines watching your style, and I love your style of coaching. I'm curious, how many of these guys that you're coaching here for the Strikers did you know as youth players coming up?
Well, there's 3 guys that I knew very, very well that came through, and I knew Christian Thurjong, and I was the biggest believer, and he went off to Cal and had a good, and he just fell through the cracks. He got drafted, never got a chance. He got hurt at USL, never got a chance.
Oh man,
I'm listening to this going, I know that kid can score goals. I had him 10 years in my club.
That's right.
And the same with Gion.
Right.
And the same with a couple guys that we're going to sign here in January. So, you have a belief in guys, and I said, I'm not going to give you a handout. I'm just going to give you a hand.
Beautiful.
I'm going to give you a hand. You need a chance. And I think that's all most guys need, because they're all going to fail. LeBron, there's very few Kobe's.
Yep.
Michael Jordan got cut.
Yep.
They sold Wayne Gretzky's.
Yep.
Everybody needs. Everybody, if you're going to be a professional athlete, you're going to hit your ground. You are going to fall down.
Yep.
There is no road that doesn't have bumps, and you just need somebody to help you up, and then it's back in the saddle, and that's what I want to do here. I think there's some guys on our team that can go to a higher level now. They're doing really well. They bought in, they're committed, they got their second chance, and they're kicking the door down.
What do you think about this season? Let's talk about this showcase season of the NISA. How's it played out?
Well, for me, it was always about learning. For others, it was always about trying to win. For me, it was learning.
Okay.
I think front offices need to learn, coaches need to learn, players need to learn, fans need to learn. We're putting this together.
Absolutely.
MLS, they all look at MLS. There were 3 guys that kept them. If there wasn't for Anschutz, Kraft, and Hunt, there's no MLS.
Absolutely.
Every player, every owner should have a 2-minute bow down to those 3 guys who I met all of them, and they saved soccer in this country. This is our first 6 months. We're not going to be MLS.
Right.
And we need players. I'd love it to be a developmental league. I would love to see guys who don't go to college. Maybe they don't have the grades.
Sure.
Maybe it's not their high school guys who don't want to go that path.
Right.
Guys who didn't make it the first go round.
Right.
I think that's exciting, and that should be the future. We need that in the soccer pyramid. That was the piece missing, and I think NISA could fill it. And if we're just patient and people don't expect us to be LAFC overnight and understand what this is, it could be a really good thing on our soccer landscape.
Well, you guys are hosting the Western Conference Championships.
You don't get to play in finals, and you have to learn to accept that pressure and play well in a must-win situation. A lot of our guys, this will be their first must-win.
Right.
Let's see how they handle it.
Well, thanks for joining me.
Okay.
I appreciate your time.
Problem. Thank you.
And I, like I said, I've followed your career when we were both younger men.
Young men.
Yeah, and I love running into you here at this environment, and I'll be at the game.
Thank you. So will I.
Yeah. All right.
It.
Thanks, Don Ebert.
Right.
This is Greg Suttie. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, guys, if you like what you just watched, follow me on social media. Go to SuttieOnSoccer.com, click on the Patreon link, and support me there. Thank you very much.